Welcome back to ITS 129. Let's take a look at query exercises. I downloaded our database, PetShop, and I've also, copied the assignment requirements, just a Word doc, just so that we can see it easy. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our PetShop database. Make sure if it does say enable saving, so make sure that you do save it. I did save it to my desktop. And, I made sure that I have a working copy. Today, we're going to take a look at queries. Now, a query in a database is kind of a broad category that allows you to go ahead and look at your data, as well as update, change, delete, those kind of things to your database structure. Yeah. So that's under this, again, this broad category of a query. Now, Microsoft Access has, some ready-made tools for us that allows us to do it very easily. Now, in this video, I'm gonna show you a couple of things that they don't seem to mention in the book too much, but I'm going to show you. So let's get to work. So again, the first couple questions say display everyone in the Foster's table and then display all the animals in the rescue table. So let's get started with that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Create tab, Query Design, and I just want to talk a little bit quickly about a couple buttons here under the Design tab. Select, Make Table, Append, Update, Cross Tab, and Delete. Now we're not going to take a look at Cross Tab, but we are going to be developing queries on the rest of these guys. So select, make table, append, update, and delete. Now the first table it wants us to look at is a Foster's table. So I click on here and add it. And once it's added, I have it over here and I can go and expand my table just so I can see it. Yeah. Now it says display all of everyone inside there. So I can go ahead and drag down the fields that I want to see one at a time, or I can click on one and then shift key, click on the last of the ones, and I can drag it all over. Yeah. And then now that I have all the fields that I want to see, I don't have to have all the fields, but in just case I say I want to see everything. So I'm going to go ahead and run it. And I see everybody in the Foster's table. Now, if I open the Foster's table, it has the same thing. And the reason why it has the same thing is because, well, I didn't exclude any fields, or I didn't filter out any fields, so that's what I have. So this is question number one, or query number one. So I'm going to right button click and save. I'm going to let it save on the query one. It automatically goes query no space one. Then the next one would be query no space two. So I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. You can change it to another name if you want. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the second question. Create, tab, query design. This time it said the rescues. So now it wants all the animals inside there. Now, the last time I did this, I pretty much clicked and dragged here, dragged everything, right? And I'm going to get rid of it. I can see the little black arrow over here. I'm going to kind of click and drag and select and delete key. Get that, right? You can do it another way. You see that right above this ID here with the primary key, there's an asterisk. Now, if you click here and drag this down, what the asterisk means is generally all, everything, all the fields, everything. So if I were to run this, it gives me the same thing, same thing as a select query, they call it. Yeah, a select query allows you to select what information you want and display it. So again, I'm going to click here in the design view, and here I just kind of clicked here, and that's what I did. So, there's a couple ways to do a select query like this where you want to see them all. The problem with the asterisk is that it displays all the fields. Yeah, so for example, if I said I just wanted the ID and the type, yeah, that's all I wanted, then when I run it, that's all I see, right? Design view. But, again, It's up to you. But that's what a select query, it allows you to go and pick and choose what you want to see. So I'm gonna go run this. That looks good to me. I'm gonna right button click save, and that's it. And then I'll save query here, then I'm gonna close that. Now, question 3 and 4 have to do with making a backup. Now, there is a way to cheat on this. You will have to, for this exercise, you will have to do it this way: create query design, and click on the Foster table first, and then you're going to have to click on this make table. Yeah. Now, I'm going to clear out this guy. I'm not going to save this guy, and I'm going to kind of show you a cheat way. So the cheat way is this: you right button click here and you copy it, and you click in this white area and then right button click and paste, and you've created a copy. Now it kind of gives you these 3 options over here. Let me show you what happens. You create a table, you create everything inside the table. Now the good thing about here is if I come to design view in the table, it has a primary key. So again, this is a copy of the original table, and it adds a primary key. Okay, keep that in the back of your mind. Now, that's not what we're doing for question number 3, but I'm going to keep it there, and we're going to do the way I want it done. Yeah, create your Fosters, add. I'm going to add all my fields because I'm going to make a backup copy of the table with all the fields. Make sure I click on make table, and I'm going to call it backup of Foster. Yeah, in this database, so it's not in another database here. Then I'm going to click on OK. Now, when I run it, it says I'm going to add these 34 rows over here. Yeah. Now I have 3 copies, 3 tables of Fosters. Right now they're identical, right? They're absolutely identical of all each other, right? They're absolutely identical. Here's the one thing though. So if I look at the backup of I'm going to close this, and I'm going to click on the backup of the Fosters table in design view, you notice that it does not have a primary key. Yeah, it does not have a primary key. Now, having a primary key comes into play when we do the next step, which is append. So I'm going to make this a primary. So I click on the ID field, and I'm going to click on primary key. Make it a primary key, which says that there cannot be duplicates of any record in this field. So you cannot have the same ID number. So I'm going to click on save that, and just say yes. Okay, just for fun. Okay, so that's query number 3, and I'm going to right button click and save query number 3. Now you're going to notice the icon's a little bit different. This is a make table icon, right? So it's not a select icon, select query icon. It's a make table icon. Okay, and then close that. Now, I'm going to leave these guys over here. Again, later I'm going to have to get rid of this guy, the copy of Foster. Doesn't come with our thing. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and create tab again. Query. This time I'm going to do it of rescues, right? And this is for number 4. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click and shift key, drag it down, right? And then I'm going to click on make table, and the table, make a new table, and then I'm going to call it backup of rescue. Okay, and I'm going to click on OK. Then I'm going to click on run. I'm going to add 84 rows. So again, a backup of rescue is exactly the same thing here. Now, I want you to notice one thing. Again, I'm going to right button click on backup of rescue. No primary key. I'm going to leave it like that for now. It's a mistake. Okay, and then here I'm going to save this query. Save. It works here. By the way, once I create a query over here, the reason why I want to save it as because if I ever want to run it again, I just double click on it. Now, sometimes it's going to give us problems. If select query is no problem, other kind of queries might have some problems. So I'm going to close this guy. And then it says for the next step, again, there's an error in rescues, and I'm going to show you what that does. But I'm going to proceed. I'm going to open up Foster's. I'm going to add one more record, F304, just for fun. Mouse, Mickey, right? Right? And I'm going to close that. And then I'm going to come to rescues, and I'm going to go and add, you know, here T90 like this, and call it Papio. And, you know, Papio, sorry. Pio, right? It's a fish, right? Now this is, you know, yeah. So anyway, that's a fish. So now I want you to notice that the backup of rescues does not have Papio. The backup of Foster's does not have Mickey Mouse, right? So because it hasn't been added. Okay, so let's go do question number 5, which is what is called an append query, 5 and 6. Now 5 is going to work properly right now. 6 is going to be have a problem. I'm going to show you that problem. Yeah. So let's go do number 6. So let's go over here, create tab, and we're going to come to query design, and we're going to do Foster's. Yeah. And we're going to do an append query. What an append query does is it adds to another table. It appends to it. Yeah, it adds. So the Foster's table has Mickey Mouse. The backup of Foster's does not have Mickey Mouse, right? Yeah. The Foster's table has 35 records, right? Sorry. Foster's record has 35 records. The backup of Foster's has 34 records, right? So let's go and keep that in mind. And then let's go and finish our query. So this time again, we're going to come to query design, sorry. Okay, query design, we're going to call it an append query. So we're going to append it to backup of Foster's. The original Foster's table to the backup of Foster's. And click on OK. Now, it's going to give a kind of sort of like an error message. Let's go and see what it says. Run. You're about to add 35 records inside there because Foster's has 35. Backup of Foster's has 34. But there's going to be an error message. You cannot append all the records in an append query. That's because because it has a primary key, you cannot add duplicates because they're already there. So I'd say, okay, that's fine. I just want to add that once. It's going to say yes. Now when I look up, now that I ran it one time, now when I go ahead and look at the back, oh look, got Mickey Mouse here. Isn't that amazing? It's amazing. So I'm going to go and right button click. This is right. Query 5. Now, query 6 is going to work because I have an error here. By the way, copy of Foster's does not have Mickey Mouse, right? I'm going to get rid of that guy. And I'm going to do number 6, which is a backup, append from rescues to the backup of rescues. So create tab, query design, rescues. All my fields, right? This time, it's not going to have an error message. It's an error. It's a problem. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing, append. And I'm going to append to backup of rescues. And it had 84. It's supposed to have 85. Let's go see what happens. So I'm going to click on run. 85. No error message. What happened? Well, let's go look. Because we didn't change this to a primary key, now I have 169 records. See, because I have Papio down here someplace. Where's Papio? Papio down here someplace, but you know, it's duplicated. So there's actually two sets of everything inside here because I didn't make this a primary key, right? So instead of 85 records, I got 169 because all I did was because there was nothing to stop it. That's an error. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run this again. I'm going to go ahead and delete my backup of rescues because I got, you know, kind of screwed it up. I'm going to run my make table query. I'm going to make that table again. Now I got, you know, I got backup. The unfortunate thing is that because now I still have Papio inside there, I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the backup just to show. Yeah. And then now again, backup of rescues as the way it's supposed to be has no Papio. And then what I'm going to do is right button click design view primary key. Yeah. Then I'm going to come back to query number 6 again, and I'm going to run it. There should be an error message after this. Oh, there's that error message. Again, it says 84 of the 85 records are duplicate. You cannot do it. So I'm going to say yes. Now when I go ahead and look at backup of rescues, only should have 85 records, which I do. Only have 85 and Papio's there. So that works properly. So make sure you go ahead and save this. Query 6, that's fine. Now, query 7 says we want to delete only one, okay, delete a new row that you created over there, yeah? So this has to be a delete query. Okay, so in the rescues table, I had T-903 Papio. I just want to do that guy, right? But, okay, so the cheating way again would be this, and I don't want you to cheat. So if I went to the Foster's table, I know number 7 is the rescues table, so I'm going to play with this. This is the way you do it, right? Right button click, delete the record, that's it, right? That's the cheating way. But because Dale says you have to use a query, this is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to go ahead and do a query design, backup of rescues. Did I say that? Backup of rescues? Oh, no, I'm sorry. You got to do from the rescues table. So I'm going to come here, the rescues table. Yeah. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to pick everything again, just for fun. Okay, just here, over here like this. Yeah. And then instead of select or make table append, what I'm going to do is a delete query. Yeah. And I'm going to say delete where the criteria here is T-903. Now, again, here in the rescues table, I have the Papio that I have, right? Papio dash, the ID is T-903. Yeah, so I said for criteria T-903. Okay, let's go see if it works. I'm going to go ahead and run it. You're about to delete one row, say yes. I'm going to right button click save this guy as query number 7. And then I'm going to look in my rescues table and see if Papio is there. Papio should no longer be there. It's not there, right? Okay. So, and the delete query looks as this red X over here. So that's good. Okay, almost there, almost done. The update, what it wants you to do is, you know, they have specific, you know, things over here. So let's go and run and update. Okay, and update field, right? Update query. Update means to kind of change something. So here I'm going to come in again, query design. First one is Foster. So I'm come here, and I can go and pick all the fields, but what it does say over there is, you know, update the field, the state field, yeah, where the city is equal to this. Now, once I do that, because it only has really two fields over there, so I'm going to go and click on update. Okay, so update the Hawaii, yeah, where the city is equal to Mesa. So let's go and take a look at the Foster's table. There is Mesa, Arizona. Mesa, Arizona, right? We're going to change that to Mesa, Hawaii. Wherever there is a city called Mesa, I'm going to change it to Hawaii. Okay, let's go see if it works. Design tab, run. Okay, cool. So then I'm going to come in and look at it. Mesa, Hawaii, Mesa, Hawaii, Mesa. Wow, that's everything else is Arizona. So we know it worked. So I'm going to go right button, click, and say yes. Okay, and then close it. So again, the update query has kind of like a pencil because it would have changed. So this next one, number 9, says we have to go and do something with rescues table. Okay, like this. And the rescues table says, I'm going to say, it says where is the type. Okay, so let me look at the rescues table. Okay, what they wanted, the gender, yeah, sorry, I got to change that to gender, current status, F. So no, they call it current status F to where type equals to duck. So, we want to change to F where if it's a duck. So how many ducks we got inside there? How many ducks do we have inside there? We got only one duck. So we want to change this current status from an A to an F. Okay, so let's go see if we can make that work. Okay, so again, the current, the animal type, yeah, the type is duck, yeah, and then the current status, we're going to go and change it to, and again, we're going here to create tab, design, and this is an update one, so right here, right, update. And then where the criteria is duck, we want to change it to an F, current status of F. Okay, this is number 9. Let's go run it. Okay, so if the type is duck, yeah, we want to change to an F. Let's go see if that's happened. So if that is a duck, where's all my ducks? The one duck is an F over here. Do I have more ducks in that? I guess not. Okay, but wherever the type was a duck, yeah, wherever the type was a duck, yeah, then it's supposed to have changed it to an F. Okay, so that's good. That looks good to me. Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, then I'm going to go and close this guy, and then I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I right button click and save. Now the last one over here, you have to create a transactional table. So let me show you how to do that. Close this guy. Yeah, and it says of the 3 animals rescued by someone is fought, please reflect that in a query. The 3 animals rescued by someone in the Foster's table. Okay, so right now, if I click on database tools and relationships, there are no relationships over here. Okay, there are no relationships. I created the transactional table in between. What a transactional table does is do this. Whenever this person rescues an animal, the transaction table records that. Kind of it records that every time these two entities interact. That's the purpose of a transaction table. So right now, there are no relationships. So I'm going to make a relationship. Foster ID, click and drag to foster ID. And I'm going to enforce it just to check it. And if it works, then it's fine. So if it works, it looks like this. Then I come to rescues ID and to rescues ID here, enforce it, Okay, okay. And then what I want to do is now when I did this line over here, what it does is it creates this kind of this relationship. So now I can tell if there was a foster person that adopted a rescue. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to close it, save yes. Then I'm going to come in, I'm going to create a select query, query design, and I'm going to add fosters, rescues, and adoption. And you see how there is a line, automatically there's a line that came up like this, just to see. And I said, 3 of the animals were rescued by someone. Well, let's go see. Well, I want to know, first of all, I want to know who they were. See how there's 3 over here? Now I want to know who they are. So I'm going to come in over here and I'm going to put in the first and last name, foster's first and last name. And then I'm going to put in the adoption ID, just for fun, the adoption date. And I want to know what was the name and the type of the animal. Let's go see what 3 adoptions were made. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to run it. And I find that Alex Vine, adoption ID number 1, 2, and 3, they adopted a cat, Lucy, and Nathan Bromley adopted a dog named Samson, and Tricia did this. Yeah. And how do I know that? If I look in the adoption table, I see that this is the animal's ID. This is the foster's ID. So this is how they came together, like how I record who adopted who in this thing called a transactional table between. Right? So you make sure you make those relationships first. Yeah, and then you do your query. And again, your query looks like this. Yeah, your query looks like this. Right? And then I'm going to go ahead and save this guy. And I'm going to show you one more thing. All of our queries, if you come to SQL view, it writes out in structured query code, SQL code. All of our queries are like that. Yeah. And, as we get on with our semester, we are going to be doing more and more of that. So I'm going to come over here, SQL code. We're going to be learning more about this thing called SQL. Now, Access makes it really easy for us. But as we continue on the semester, we're going to have to write this from scratch ourselves. Make sure that we understand how to do it. And that's it for assignment on query exercise.